Chapter 17. The talents we receive at birth. There comes a time in one's life when you stop searching outward and begin listening inward. That moment often arises not in triumph but in silence, in the still hour when your heart, tired of chasing of the whisper there must be more. For me, that moment was not just a pause in the journey, it was the homecoming. After years of writing, teaching, and believing that the mind had the power to attract whatever it desired, I discovered something deeper, something older than words, older than mind itself. I discovered the source. You can call it by many names: infinite source, the divine, God, the universe, whatever the label. It is not something far away in the sky. It lives within us, breathes through us, and waits patiently for us to remember who we are. We are not merely children of the divine, we are its very expression, and the talents we were born with are the language through which God speaks to the world. The seeds of the soul. Every soul arises on earth carrying invisible seeds, the divine codes of purpose and potential. Some seeds bloom early, while others remain dormant for decades, waiting for the right seasons. As children, we often express these gifts naturally, the way a river flows effortlessly to the sea. We draw, we sing, we imagine, we build, not because we want success, but because creation is our nature. However, as life unfolds, society teaches us to measure our worth by what we achieve rather than by who we are. We learn to compare, compete, to chase goals that may not align with our true selves. Slowly, the voice within grows faint. And yet, no matter how far we drift from our essence, the divine never leaves us. Our talents, those unique combinations of passion, sensitivity, and curiosity, remain untouched, waiting for us to return. I used to think that my purpose was create wealth and teach others how to do the same. I believe, as many of us did, in the law of attraction. Whatever we focus on, we desire, and clarity will come to us. And indeed, it did work for a time. I manifested opportunities, success, and recognition. However, after the achievements were settled, I began to sense something was missing. It wasn't the material success that felt empty. It was a disconnection from the source. It was as if I had been climbing a mountain to reach the sky, only to discover that the sky had always been within me. The first two books and what they taught me, when I wrote A Road to Wealth and Happiness and The Secrets to Success, I poured my heart into them. Those books became a genuine desire to share hope, to tell people that their minds are powerful, that thoughts create reality, and that we are the architects of our destiny. At that time, my mentors were the great teachers of personal growth, Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor, and others who had walked the path of manifestation and human potential. They taught us that wealth begins with a clear vision and a burning desire, and I believe it wholeheartedly because I saw how these principles transform lives, including my own. But what I did not fully understand then was that the law of attraction is only the outer layer of much deeper truth. Desire opens the door, but love walks us through. The power of thought can shape form, but only the power of soul gives it meaning. Through decades of experience, I realized that while happiness and success are not three separate paths, but as they once seemed, they are one single road, the road to self-realization. They are not destinations we reach, but states of being we awaken to. Wealth is not only money, it is the abundance of inner peace. Happiness is not pleasure, it is the harmony between the soul and its expression. Success is not achievement, it is the fulfillment of divine purpose through the talents we were born with. When I began to see this truth, everything changed. The words of my earliest book did not become wrong. They simply became the foundation for something higher. The first two books were the map. This chapter and the lessons that follow become the journey. The divine source within, the infinite source, is not outside of us. It is the breath that animates us. It is the silence between thoughts, the spark in the heart, the intuition that whispers truth before logic can interfere. When people seek of finding God, I smile gently because God was never lost. We are the ones who wander away, distracted by glitter of the world. In the quiet reflection, I began to feel that the divine was not something we needed to reach, but something we needed to remember. For every moment of awe, the sunset in the backyard garden, the laughter of my children, the peace after prayer, all of it was the divine revealing itself through love. When I started writing again with this awareness, I no longer wrote to teach, I wrote to witness. I no longer tried to prove that I was successful. I wanted to express that success was already breathing through me. That realization brought a peace that I have never known, a peace that comes not from doing but being. The purpose of talents. Every talent, no matter how small or ordinary it may seem, is sacred. Our gifts are the ways God experiences creation through us. To deny them is to deny the divine expression itself. Some people are born with artistic grace, others with the gift of nurturing, of leadership, of understanding numbers or healing words. Some have the silent strength to comfort, others the boldness to inspire. No talent is superior to another because each serves the same purpose, to bring more light into the world. When I began to see talents as divine assignments rather than personal possessions, my entire understanding of life shifted. I realized that the short does not make mistakes. The family we are born into, the body we inhabit, the country, the era, the temperament, all are perfectly arranged for our soul's mission. The moment we stop comparing our talents with others, we begin to awaken our own power. The journey of remembering. For many years, I thought the discovery of talent was a matter of learning more. Now I know it is about unlearning what is not true. We were born knowing how to be, how to love, how to create. Life's noise only makes us forget. When I was a little girl in Vietnam, I would sit by the window during the rains and listen to the rhythm of water on the roof. I did not have many toys, but I had imagination. I wrote little stories in my head, spoke to the wind as it could hear me. That was my first communion with the divine, the innocent creativity that flowed without effort. Years later, as I became a writer again in a foreign land, I realized that same little girl never left me. She was just waiting for me to stop chasing and start listening again. The divine doesn't call us through ambition, it calls us through remembrance. Every person I have ever met, every hardship I have endured, every book I have written, all of it led me back to the same truth. You already have what you seek. You are already who you are, who you were meant to become. When I write now, I write not from ambition but from devotion. Each word feels like a prayer, each chapter like a return to the infinite source that first gave me breath. The road becomes one. In my early journey, I separated happiness and success into different paths because that's how the world taught me to see them. But life in its patience showed me that these are not three roads, they are three rivers flowing into one ocean. Well is the abundance of spirit. Happiness is the joy of alignment, and success is the natural fruit of both. When you live your talent in harmony with love, all three appear effortlessly. You don't have to chase them. They flow to you because you are in tune with life itself. Imagine the musician who plays not for fame, but for the purse, for the pure love of sound. That is divine well. Imagine the gardener who plants flowers and feels peace blossom within. That is divine happiness. Imagine the teacher who inspires others to believe in themselves. That is divine success. The world may call them ordinary, but heaven calls them fulfilled. The process of awakening talents, discovering one's talent is not about ambition but awareness. The question is not what can I become, but what is already within me that wants to be expressed. Listen to the heart's joy. The things that make your heart light up are divine signals. Joy is the compass of the soul. Observe where you lose track of time. Flow is the presence of God moving through you. Accept the uniqueness of your path. No one else can express your gift the way you can. Serve others with it. A talent does not serve love will wither. One that serves love will multiply. As I apply these principles to my life, I felt reborn. Writing which once was an ambition became a ministry. Every story I share carries a vibration of gratitude. Every reader became a mirror reflecting the same divine light. Talents and divine equation of life. If life is a symphony, then talents are instruments through which we lay our notes. The melody becomes whole only when every soul contributes its sound. Some play softly, others loudly. Some play in rhythm, others add harmony. None is lesser. In the eyes of the divine, even silence is part of the music. Our task is not to compare melodies, but to play our notes with a full heart. When people suppress their gifts out of fear of doubt, the world loses a piece of its song. But when person awakens to their divine purpose, an entire generation feels the vibration. This is why self-discovery is not selfish, it is sacred service. When you honor your talent, you honor the source that gave it to you. My own awakening, there were times in my life I questioned whether my voice mattered. When I first began to write, I feared judgment, that my English was not perfect and my ideas were too spiritual, too emotional, too different. But something within me refused to stay silent. That voice, the one I now recognize as divine within, whisper, "Speak anyway. Your truth is someone's light." And it was true. Each time I wrote from authenticity, readers reached out with tears of gratitude or story of healing. It wasn't because the words were extraordinary. It was because they came from a sincere place of the soul. That is what happens when we allow God to work through us. Our talents become vessels of transformation. I no longer see writing as something I do. It is something that flows through me. When I sit quietly and open my heart, the words come like streams of grace, not from intellect, but from communion. The maturity of wisdom. When I look back over my decades of life, from a young woman who escaped war-torn Vietnam to a wife, a mother, and a grandmother, and now the other sharing spiritual truth, I see the divine pattern clearly. Every challenge, every delay, every detour was part of the curriculum. The talents we are born with do not mature overnight. They ripen through seasons of pain and joy, just as a pearl forms from friction. Device gifts are refined through experience. The longer we live, the clearer the melody becomes. That is why aging is not loss but revelation. Each year uncovers another layer of grace. I often look at my grandchildren and see reflections of the same divine spark I carry as a joy. They remind me that the source renews itself through generations. The same light, new expressions, and I smile knowing that the journey continues. The return of the source. At this stage of my life, I no longer seek to define success. I seek to live in harmony. Every morning I thank the divine for another breath, another chance to serve through my gifts. I no longer pray for more. I pray to become more aware of what is already given. The source has no shortage. It gives endlessly, but we must open ourselves to receive. And the way we receive is by using our gifts, by singing our song. When you sing your song, write your truth, build with love, or nurture with compassion, you are participating in creation itself. That is highest purpose of life, not to gather but to give, not to impress but to express. You were born with divine talents, not to compete but to complete the world. When you awaken to the source within, you realize that every desire of wealth, happiness, and success was never about having more. It was about remembering who you truly are. The infinite source does not create failures, it creates possibilities. When you are one of them, your gift is offering back to God. Use it fully, live it joyfully, and the road of wealth, happiness, and success will merge into one, the road home to yourself.